You need to know. You need to know, did he cut her in little bitty pieces? I checked on her night and she's not dead. They will shoot you. If they see you, she's been frozen for 2 days. She's frozen solid. It's amazing. She's still alive. It's the middle of the night in Springfield, Tennessee. When a dispatcher takes one of the most chilling 911 calls ever recorded, a man is calling to report that he killed his wife. But the call takes a sudden and shocking twist when he reveals the true reason for his call in case doomed to end in sudden rage that police and first responders must rush into this dreadful situation to discover the truth and find the suspect before he strikes again, unless lock it down now. Joe may be coming to get you. The stillness of a quiet night is broken at 2:45 a.m. on the morning of November 7th, 2014, when a bone-chilling call comes in to 911. Now, one location of your emergency. Yes, Springfield, Tennessee. It's right behind Oakland Farms. Okay, what's going on? All right, this is what's happened. Been married 12 years on the 4th, which would have been 2 nights ago. At 4 a.m., I shot my wife in the temple of her head. This detail, combined with the man's oddly calm demeanor, aerial ready, eerie enough, but it's what the man says next that is truly terrifying. I thought I killed her, and I put her in the freezer out in the garage. I checked on her tonight, and she's not dead. She's got a big hole in the temple of her head, and together body moved around in there. I think I broke her wristy. You know, she was frozen from being in the thing. She'd been in the thing 48 hours. Now this is no prank call. You need somebody to get out there. I've cleared the premises. I've got away. You know, I'm not GNA Beather, but I promise you this is a legit call, and I need somebody get out help. For still lover, just it's hard to believe after that. You know, but you need to get body youth there to help her. The call is coming from 45-year-old Joseph Parker, and the woman he claims to have shot is his wife, Samantha. Okay? What happened that caused you to that long story? Don't want to get into it. Just want to get into getting some out there to help her. I left the front door open. I left all the lights on in the house, and she's in the garage, too. Got through the kitchen to get into the garage, and you'll see her once you get in the garage, and she can't call. I blink on means yes, blink twice means not. These horrifying specifics are almost too ghastly to believe, especially for those who know. The Parkers, like their friend, Barbara, who was over at the house the previous afternoon to borrow a picture in her statement to the police. Barbara shares that Joseph told her that his wife was sick with a migraine. Barbara said that she'd looked in the bedroom to find Samantha laying on the bed facing the wall. And covered in a blanket, Barbara further tells the police that she seemed to be asleep. I thought she'd been dead 2 days. She was still alive. She's been frozen for 2 days. She's frozen solid. It's amazing. She's still alive. Is shot there with a .38 caliber hand on her. There's a big hole in the temple of her head. I didn't see an exit. When and how long ago did you leave there? An hour ago. And that's the last time you saw her. And she was still in the garage. Yes, she's still in the garage. It made her as comfortable as I could make her drink a little water bad shrilly need. Over it's crucial for the dispatcher to get as much information as possible from Joseph. But he makes it clear that there are some things he's not willing to share. Okay, what is your name? My name is. Joe don't want to get arrested tonight, and all that we don't have a history of domestic disputes. You know, we never had to call police. We just had a real bad night, a couple night. Go got trouble, so anyway, a need out there in help. While Joseph doesn't want to give away his location, police will soon learn that his background is relatively clean. The only blemish to his record is a drug possession arrest from 1987, when he would have only been 20 years old. I love her. I still love her lure. Every day married to her. To that end, it will soon come to light that Joseph recently lost this job as a car salesman at Gate, Toyota in Metro Nashville. Joseph's former co-workers would later recall in exclusive interviews with you how we changed in the last months of his employment. He was really quiet. He was kind of weird. He was a salesperson, so he did talk to people. We knew something was going on with him. It was unusual behavior, but it just grew over time. I think he had a lot of family stress on him, had gotten behind on their mortgages. I think he had a lot of you weight on his shoulders that was getting to him indeed. Joseph's stepdaughter would later say that the home was in foreclosure. Could these economic pressures have led to an explosion of violence? Any checks she's still alive help know what they're doing. I got a trouble sook. You will send somebody out there. What was your first name? I'm not going to give you my name, sir, okay? That's okay. Joseph's call to 911 is over, and he's left more than enough details for police to investigate. They'll find, however, that he didn't tell them everything, and there's more to this grotesque story than anyone could have imagined. Police arrive at the house at 2:45 in the morning, and as they peer through the garage windows, they have the first confirmation of Joseph's grisly details when they see her hair peeking out from blankets and protruding from the top of a freezer. Even before they make an entry, a be on the lookout report goes out to the Metro Nashville area For Joseph Parker Zed to be driving a white Toyota Camry, the idea that Joseph could be anywhere is unnerving even for his sister Patty, who later talks to an investigator. I need to leave the house. I know Joe is going to call me. I feel like he's been outside our house that night. My husband's car in our driveway. We're not in the kind of neighborhood that you just pull up in. Is Joseph merely planning to make a clean getaway? Or does he have more nefarious intentions in mind at 3:23 a.m.? Police enter the house to find it clean and spotless. There's not rash anywhere, and every trash can has been emptied. It strikes officers as a clear attempt to destroy evidence, but there are other odd discoveries in store that don't seem to be directly related to a crime. Have you all known that he's OCD, not that over 1,000 chapsticks? Yeah, but it's in the garage that the police learned the disturbing truth behind Joseph's 911 call. They find Samantha Parker frozen to the touch inside the freezer with a gunshot wound to the left side of her head. She's completely unresponsive, which is a stark contrast to the way Joseph described the situation to 911. She can't tell once means yes, twice means. Now the police search the resident for signs of blood, but find nothing other than possible small blood stains on the floor and carpet. That is until they reach the bedroom and find a large bloodstain on the mattress. Strangely enough, the pillows and sheets are completely clean. Okay, she was shot in the bed in the head. I don't know where she was shot. They took half the bed. We took out, we didn't take half. The bed wet, took out a piece of mattress about like this right here. That's the BL, that was then a bullet hole, note in your hand, no bullet hole in the mattress. Anywhere, the police are a long way from determining what exactly happened between the Parkers at this residence, but soon new clues come in regarding Joseph's whereabouts. Investigators ping Joseph's cell phone, only 12 miles from his residence near the interstate at 3:42 a.m. Dispatch calls Joseph back and he tells them he's going to Chattanooga to visit some friends. The Balo is updated with the new information. If Joseph has more scores to settle, it's vital that police catch up to him as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, at the house, police realize that Joseph wasn't finished with Samantha after shooting her. Here's what I've heard. We cut off her hand. He told me, he cut off her ankle. I've been told she's been chopped into little pieces. Did he cut off? I need to know. Did he cut her into little bitty piece? He did not cut her into little bit. What was she still was? Her head still on her body. Oh yeah, were her arms or alleged her arms were still attached to her legs and had some work done to them. Okay, was it Tenango work? Or I've got to get there in the freezer work. I know it was not both, but I don't know if I asked that, right? Yeah, I don't know that I can answer that. You're asking me what he was feeling when he cut her up. I don't know, was it a rage of anger? Did he cut her legs into little big pieces or cut on? So she was not sliced up bit by bit. There's like, okay. Now why she might be in 5-piece? So okay, that's what I mean legs, but her hands is what I folded up in there. It's kind of hard to see, okay, but thank you. But I think maybe 2 cuts to each, or 2 cuts to one leg and 1 cut of the other. Okay, police may know all there is to know about what happened here, but they know enough to realize they're dealing with a violent and severely disturbed fugitive. Unfortunately, even with his name added to the Tennessee top 10 most wanted list, Joseph professed to be elusive. It's only in hindsight that police learned that he checked into a hotel in Goodlettsville for a few hours. But it's when Patty gets a phone call that this domestic homicide threatens to grow into something far more tragic. River we have in is Troy, who I know very well, or have known the years through Joe Lockett Down. Now Joe may be coming to get you. Did Joe ever say anything to you to make you think that somewhere in the morning I got a phone call saying that Joe was going to Rivergate Toyota to take out Troy? I was medicated prescription. Yeah, so you don't recall who told you that for some reason? No, I don't, but to backtrack on that UPS shootings a month ago, my best friend runs UPS in Birmingham. And the guy that killed those people had just been fired, and he was after her and some in my head. I was thinking Joe can't hurt anybody else, and I was actually trying to help those people. Joseph's former co-workers at Rivergate Toyota would later recall the horror of that days. Someone, and I believe it was somebody on his side of the family, told him to warn he was headed that way. I was scared. I was in fear. I really was. I was worried that he might be parked his car down the road and walk back up to the lot, and there was little sheds and buildings of all kinds at the old dealership. He could have go. Tina and Hor, if he have pulled in on the lot. Everybody knew Joe. They didn't hate Joe. He could have easily pulled on the lot. Got out and just went bam, bam, bam. You know, we wouldn't have even questioned why he was there, we thought. Just come to visit. The Metro Nashville police send units to guard Rivergate Toyota, but there's no way to know for sure what Joseph plans to do next. The guy that got the phone call said that he said this all started when I lost my job. He was going to come and take care of person that fired him for one, and the rest of use. And we're like, we didn't have anything to do with it, but okay. And then we weren't sure who all he was going to be aiming for. Well, we had two entrances to this dealership, and what they did was lock the back gates that only made one entrance in. Out and we had police undercover sitting back there in their cars, watching people come on the lot. They were doing the best that they could. We had people set up across the street videoing. But despite the rumors, Joseph never shows up at this old workplace. It remains a case full of unknowns, and the biggest question of all is what might have driven Joseph to kill his wife in the first place. Winkham hears. What we piece together as the detectives that's a joke had it here sometime, 10 Tuesday night, and they had been fighting all day because he was Mackenzie's birthday. And Mackenzie's mother has never not caught her. And it was a text sent from Sam's phone to Mackenzie, a birthday text right from her mother to her only child. There's a lady in Samantha's neighborhood named Karen Mann. She texted Karen Tuesday night and said, "I've got to go somewhere, he's crazy." The text she's in. She knows she's going to die. He knows she's going to die, and we feel like that down on third Tuesday night. Joe's all that, "I'm going to go to an attorney. I got to get away from him. Can I come to your house begging if I haven't slept and need a hot shower?" I'm not. And we feel like Jew breathed that text, and that's when he killed her, because there was a text back from Sam's phone that said, "Oh, I've decided to stay here tonight. Everything be okay," but even as both Joseph and the reasons behind his madness remain elusive. His sister learns that afternoon that the madness is not over yet at 3:30 night. Om rings and I look at tie 10. I went out, and then if you've heard the 90-on-1 take, Joe was so calm man, so cool. It was extremely eerie. I picked up some, said, "My God, Joe, are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, what are you doing? What's going on? Whatever you've done. If forgive you, tell me where you are. I will have somebody come and get you. I will come and get you myself. Are you in Alabama?" I said, "No, I'm just driving around." I said, "Okay, so Joe, what happened?" He said, "Well, I shot her in the head, but she was asleep, and she didn't feel anything, and then tried to put her in the freezer, but her ankle I had okied off her ankle because she wouldn't fit in there with her ankle. And then I truly made a big mess. Patty, and it took me a really long time to clean enough, but even as Joseph makes his second confession of the day, Patty notices a stark disconnect between what he's admitting to and his seeming inability to understand the full ramifications of his actions. "Jaded, you chop her up and put her in the freezer," he said. "Now, Patty, I'm not going to tell you that said, okay, do you have a gun? Yes. Where is it? It's in my lap. Take the gun and unload it. Not going to do that. Not going to prison. K. Into that, how is she, Joe? She's dead. Oh, they didn't get to her in time. They couldn't help. Her nojo, she died. You cut her up and you put her in the freezer. You just told me that said, put the gun in the seat. If you're not going to unload it, put it in passenger seat. Okay, I'll do that for you. You swear, Joey. Is where soy Samantha dead is. Joe, she's dead. So they didn't get to her in time. No, Joe, you just told me. You shot her, I just told you she's dead at the house? The crime scene investigators remove Samantha's body from the house and deliver her to the medical examiner while Linda Freezer, the autopsy report reveals that her lower leg was amputated. Her right foot was cut between the toes. Since she had a gunshot wound in her temple, there was another entry wound in her right arm. And police realized that this was their reason. There was no bullet hole in the mattress. They theorized that she was indeed asleep, her arm tucked under her head, when Joseph shot her on that fateful night. We forgive you pullover at a filling station. Put your hand soup and going, and tell them who you are. Why is anybody looking for mice? Joe, the state of Tennessee, you're on the #1 list. They will shoot you. If they see you, they will kill you. Well, I'm not going to prison. After those final words, the phone line goes dead, but even as law enforcement begins to converge in Joseph's position, he calls Patty back, perhaps knowing that this would be the last time he would ever get to speak to his sister. He said, "Sorry about that, we got disconnected. I'm on the cont, I'm almost in Kentucky, and I hit a rough spot. I said, so you're on your way to Kentucky." He said, "Yeah, I'm 10 miles from Stellanel. They're on to Mem. There's a white Tahoe behind me." I, Joe, just, is that it's probably not. A cop just don't speed up and he go. So Heats the Coffee's been following me. I'm just doing everything I could to keep him online. And then the very end, he said, "I heard the sirens. Joe, pull over on the side of the road. Open the door, hold your hands out where they can see it with your hands over your head." I'm crying, Joe, to this. "Please put your hands over your head. Get out of the cart. They will help you. We will get you some help. I will visit you. They will help you whatever I could to talk my." It's been at least 12 hours since Joseph made his original 911 call. But when police catch up to him on Interstate 65 in Kentucky, he's only about 30 mil away from his house. The goal is to take him in without incident. But unfortunately, Joseph Parker has decided this is the end of the line. The details of Joseph's murder of Samantha underscore his capacity for cold ruthlessness, which means the cops must exercise the most caution as they approach the vehicle. But even with their careful approach and desire to this manhunt peacefully, they cannot stop the tragic violent ending. And he said, "Patty, I love you and I'm sorry." Well, I guess it's time now, gotta go police see. On Vergiant le Toyota. But when they open the doors, they see that force won't be necessary. Joseph has taken his own life using the same .38 caliber handgun used on Samantha. Inside the car, police find a mirror with a white substance on it, along with a short straw. This evidence coincides with the toxicology report, which shows Joseph had a host of strong medications in his system. While the manhunt doesn't end the way police would have liked the finality of it, it is welcome news to the terrified employees of Rivergate Toyota, not to be cruel, but that was skin. Self-relief. Joseph's sudden burst of murderous violence would leave a lasting impact on those who knew him. That isn't something that you just get over. You hear about it. You worked with him, and to the degree of where he went with all this was just it scared. It just scared you, but unfortunately the root cause, the true reason behind Samantha's murder remains a mystery. Everybody's just like, why? I thought somebody asked Meth at my wife, asked me, he said, what happened? He said a freaking wire come looks at his head or something.